coming back to this, so let's look at how many of each of these that we actually have. So what I've done here is I've X'd out all of the capital A somethings, capital B somethings, that is all the purple talls. And if you count the number of X's, you will see that I have 9 out of 16 of the boxes represented there. Also, you can see from the little clouds, I have 3/16 of the capital A little b something, that is, I have purple short, and then I have 3 that are checked, little a, capital B something, that would be white tall, and then the last one would be white short. So here I have it written over here, what you should have counted. So take a second and make sure that you can see that in your Punnett square that you drew out. I forgot to mention in the first video that the little boxes are called Punnett squares. So that is a Punnett square, and these down here are also Punnett squares. Okay, so we're about to talk about something else. First of all, the way, if I wanted to know how to set up my Punnett square, one of the things I have to consider is how many choices am I going to have. So from this one, it's fairly easy because the FOIL method was simple, because I have only 4, and it was easy to figure out the FOIL method. But one thing that you could do if you had, let's say, for example, more things, like you had 3 factors that I was considering, one thing that you could do is, of course, I always have 2 factors, a maximum of 2 alleles per individual for a particular gene. That's because I have 2 homologous sets of chromosomes, and the genes would be found on those homologs. So I have a maximum of 2 factors, and then I am going to have to the nth degree, which would be the number of traits that I'm considering. So in this case, I have 2 factors, and I have 2 traits, so it's 2 to the 2, or I have 4 possibilities, or that is a 4 by 4 Punnett square. That would be 16 boxes, okay? So if I had, for example, 3 possibilities, like I do in this cross up here, if I had 3 possibilities, then I'm going to have 2 to the 3rd, or 8, or an 8 by 8 box, or 64 squares, or 64 boxes in my Punnett square. So anyway, that's how you would figure that out. Another way to figure out these ratios, so these ratios right here, besides drawing out your Punnett square, is also to do it by probability. All right, so what you do is you take the probability for each thing and multiply it. So in this case, if I wanted to know how many capital A somethings, capital B somethings from this cross that we did over here, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the probability from this cross of how many, just considering A's at a time, how many capital A's somethings. So I have to then do a Punnett square for just A. So down here you can see I have capital A little a times capital A little a. And if I wanted to know how many capital A somethings, I would get 3/4 probability for that. All right. Likewise, again, from this cross, if I wanted to do it for B, so if I'm doing the probability of just B something, I do my Punnett square for that, and I'm going to have 3/4 probability again from that. So I'm going to do 3/4 times 3/4, and I'm going to get 9/16, which is what we figured out by using the Punnett square. And you could do it for any of those possibilities. Now try with 3 traits. So over here, let's say we have these 3 traits crossed. All right. I forgot to put the little mark through the C. Whoops, sorry about that. All right, so try to figure that out. All right, so what I'm first going to do is I'm going to figure out the probability of capital A something, the probability of capital B something, and the probability of little c, little c. Okay, when you've done that, go ahead and write it down.